Gabrielle Lewis. Welcome to Ignite and Inspire. I am a yogiologist that combines psychology and yoga and meditation as a healing modality for the mind, body and spirit. And I'm so honored to have one of my mentors here today, Mary, who is a Hatha and Kundalini yoga and meditation teacher. She teaches in a variety of settings, the YMCA, assisted living, home, and she's here to talk a little bit about the work that she does with the seniors. So thank you so much for joining and being here. And so how long have you been teaching seniors for?
Well, actually, I started teaching seniors about 2 years ago, after maybe 2.5 years ago now. My mom, we moved her out here into an assisted living facility from our home state. And so she was living there, and I had been doing yoga with her. And she started kind of talking me up to her friends there, and it all kind of snowballed, and I said, yeah, I'd love to teach yoga here. And so I started teaching yoga. It really wasn't planned at all. It just all kind of evolved, thanks to my mom bragging about me, basically.
So well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what are the benefits for yoga with
Well,
seniors?
the thing about the type of yoga I teach is it's basically addressing the needs of what I would call acute seniors. A lot of times we think of senior yoga and the image of just sort of a silver-haired, fit person who's maybe slowed down a bit or can't touch their toes. And those are totally legitimate images. But I'm dealing with folks who are in assisted living.
Right.
So these are people who are between the ages of 75 and 100 years old. Some of them are in wheelchairs, a lot of them use walkers, many of them have Parkinson's, a lot of them have dementia. So it's a completely different animal than what you might think of as gentle senior yoga. It's a whole different kind of thing that I've basically invented as I've gone along.
So what are the challenges that you've found?
The very first challenge I discovered was that they couldn't hear me.
Oh, well, that's kind of a big challenge.
I mean, in hindsight, it's a bit obvious, but I went in and I started, my little spiel, like opening the class, and they couldn't hear a word I was saying, because most of them are at least partially deaf, and some of them are completely deaf. Their eyesight is poor, so any compensation you might get in, say, lip reading is not happening.
Not happening.
And so that was the very first thing, and I immediately had to retool, and I've learned now to, well, obviously to speak up, but the other huge factor here is I speak very slowly, and I use many fewer words than I normally would.
Right.
Because for someone who's hard of hearing, it just sounds like a big mush. The fewer words I use, the better chance they have of actually hearing.
Just being clear and concise.
Being clear and concise.
Getting straight to
the point.
Straight to the point.
No bells and whistles.
And do they enjoy it?
They love it. They love it. I mean, one of the biggest effects I've seen over time is their concentration has improved dramatically. I have them, we do the entire class in chairs. They don't, because of obvious reasons. And some of them could get up, but I just want to keep the whole class together. So everybody's in chairs, and I immediately started them on Warrior 2. In Kundalini Yoga, we refer to that as archer pose. And so I would have them do that, and the whole idea was have them focus on a spot on the wall and keep their focus and keep their breathing going. And the first few weeks, I mean, it was hilarious. They couldn't, I mean, the wind would blow and they were all over the place. Anybody would sneeze. It was just, anything could disrupt it, anything. And now, all these months later, I mean, they really are able to hold that focus, hold that posture, and I keep them in it for almost a minute.
Oh wow,
yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's tough for anyone.
Yeah, it's tough for me, let alone from 100.
Yeah, it's there, and that has been a very obvious effect that I've seen. And then one of the students, they have at the facility, they have something they call memory training, which you would expect.
Right.
And her memory training is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Class is on Thursday mornings. And she told me herself that she does better in her memory training on Thursdays. That the person giving it to her has noticed, and she noticed. And I was like, what?
Well, that's
yoga.
And then you mentioned something that you kind of not invented this yoga, but you've custom made.
Right. When I first started doing it, of course I went around and I looked in the bookstore and whatever for books, guidebooks about how to teach seniors yoga. And there were many, but all of them had to do with people who were relatively mobile. Certainly not the type of folks I was dealing with. So there were no resources at all for me to use. And so I started to kind of just intuitively make things up and invent. For example, I've invented a sun salutation that takes place entirely in the chair.
Oh, wow.
They never get out of the chair, but they're doing a modified sun salutation that I kind of made up. And I'm putting this together. I'm developing an instructional manual and a program called Yoga for Real Seniors.
Oh, fantastic. I love the name.
Yeah, thank you. It fits because, our population is aging dramatically, and not everyone has the benefit of years of prior practice or health consciousness or whatever. So a lot of people are dealing with some very serious problems as they get older. And my entire focus is if what we do can bring a little bit of ease, then that's good. And of course, some of them get much more benefit.
Right.
They are really enjoying it and loving it. And there's endless anecdotes about their how they respond, and it's really, really fun. They're one of my favorite classes.
Well, thank you so much for sharing and for
doing
the work that you're doing. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.